Hi there lovelies, I'm Rhonda Crimes. I'm a life and leadership coach supporting everyday people just like you to reflect and rework your everyday stories so you can step into the everyday leadership of your families and communities and create compelling, meaningful and fruitful lives every day. Today let's talk about meeting Monnie and making her happy. I want to continue my exploration into burnout and will again be referencing the fabulous book Burnout, The Secret to Solving the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. I'm focusing in on what they call the monitor and how it applies to things within our circle of control. When I first heard this term, I immediately thought of a computer monitor, but that wasn't quite on the right track. It's more like the monitors of my childhood. Remember when there was a class monitor or the chalkboard monitor? Yes, I really am that old. Or the sports monitor. They were people that were charged with monitoring the comings and going of the duties entrusted to them, making sure it all got done in the time specified and to the teacher's expectations. In the context of today's chat, it is actually the brain mechanism that manages the gap between where we are and where we're going. As you can imagine, it'll look very different for each of us, with the enormous number of unique contributing factors for each individual. Our experiences, our beliefs, our culture, our biological cycle. Much like I describe in the cycle of creation, the one of many model I use to explain how we make meaning. This brain mechanism influences every aspect of our life, from tying a shoelace to parenting to body image. According to the Nagoski sisters, for women, the gap quickly becomes a chasm. Let's begin by understanding how this monitor works. Firstly, let's give it its official title. It's known in the very elite circles as the discrepancy-reducing or discrepancy-increasing feedback loop and criterion velocity, which, if you're anything like me, sends my brain into a freeze-like holding pattern until I can seek out something less academic, more familiar and relatable to distract myself with before my eyes glaze over. You know, along the lines of, oh, where is Mowgli the jungle cat? And, is it time to put the kettle on? Let me check if the washing machine's finished. So, let's stick with calling it Monnie the Monitor and imagine it's a little part of us in our brain that keeps check on things to help us decide to keep going or to stop trying. In order for this to happen, we need to understand that Monnie the Monitor knows, number one, what our goal or outcome is, two, how much effort we're putting into that goal, and three, how much progress we're making. She's got a tally board and loads of colour pens to efficiently chart our progress to effort ratio. She's also very opinionated and frankly can be quite judgmental about what that ratio should be for any and all given goals and outcomes. Now, it's also important to keep in mind early on that there are innumerable ways a plan can go astray, or events can happen that will upset a seemingly smooth plan intended to achieve the expected goal or outcome. Some of these are within our control and some are outside our control. But let it be known and very clear, all of them frustrate Monnie the Monitor and really mess up her tally board. If everything is going smoothly, the progress column is adding up and the effort has minimal tally marks. Milestones are being met and Monnie is very happy. We're tracking well and maybe even ahead of expectations of where we should be, and she is giving high fives all round. If, however, for example, perhaps we're heading out to work and we know that that drive always takes 20 minutes. But today, there's an accident further up the road. The traffic is banked up and we're left sitting in a stationary vehicle for 15 minutes. Monica, the monitor, as she now becomes known, is madly adding more marks in the effort column of the tally board as we try to figure out how to go a different way, to work out how we can get out of this jam, forecast how long it's going to take, get frustrated that we're going to be very late. There are very few marks in the progress column, and now Monica is angry and getting mouthy. Our emotions rise, and Monica is now making calculations to determine if our goal of getting to work in time for that important meeting is attainable or unattainable. As the last shades of hope disappear with the blinking clock on the car dashboard, Monica declares it unattainable, and we are then pushed into a pit of despair. We sit helpless and hopeless. We can't go forward. We can't go backward. We're stuck. And now all we want is to be at home under the doona with Netflix and chocolate. But we're here, thinking and wallowing. It'll probably take forever. But you've probably never felt like that. The truth is, we have all felt like that. Maybe not specifically about being stuck in traffic, but stuck in a relationship, stuck in a work project, stuck in a creative outlet, stuck in a health plan. Now you know what I mean, right? But do you also know what is good about this predictability is that we can create workarounds or strategies to manage, cope, and influence our brain with both controllable and uncontrollable stresses. The Nagoski sisters propose, when a lot of effort fails to produce a satisfying amount of progress, we can change the kind of effort we're investing. We can employ a strategy they call planful problem solving. And actually, many of us do this intuitively, especially women. We've been socialised to plan purposefully. We are brought up to anticipate the needs of others and to be prepared to serve at a moment's notice. We know it is always up to us to take care of the things we can anticipate and control. For example, we carry all sorts of things in our handbags, just in case. Purse, phone, sunglasses, driving glasses, nail file, antihistamines, paracetamol, ibuprofen, band-aids, antiseptic, lip balm, tissues, spare hair lacquers, compact mirror, hairbrush, pens and paper, small shopping bags, umbrella, tape measure, USB drive, dog leash, hand sanitizer, moisturiser, toothpicks, tweezers, portable phone charger, and all the cords. That is literally the contents of my handbag every day. And it's not just thrown in hodgepodge. Everything has a home in the various pockets of the bag and a removable handbag organiser that can transfer simply to another handbag so I can stay prepared at all times. Other ways we planfully problem solve is by writing shopping lists, create prioritised to-do lists. We keep diaries and calendars. We follow budgets. We plan exercise activities and menus. The only problem is that every problem requires specific planning across many life aspects and areas. You know, for me to go to Perth last week for a few days, along with everything else I needed to prepare and organise for, I needed to get someone to live in and look after Mowgli, because I believe he's too frail now to be left home alone. So once I found the suitable person, my beautiful animal-loving cousin who just happened to be visiting Kalgoorlie for work that week. Side note, thank you, universe. I then had to instruct her how to give him his medicine so he doesn't choke or run away. Make sure there was adequate food for him, which it turned out there wasn't. So then I had to give her details of the food he likes and which ones to avoid. I pointed out where he was used to being fed, where he hides when you call him and he doesn't come, which vet to call in case he takes a turn for the worse. I had to prepare the spare bedroom with clean linen and make space for a suitcase. Put fresh towels in the bathroom for her, organise a spare key, go through how the washing machine and the dishwasher work, where to put the bin out on bin day. On and on it went. A lot of planful problem solving, which was reassuring, but still not every contingency was covered. This was really just a practical steps way to manage the controllable factors, because controlling what you can makes the rest more endurable. But even with all of this planning, we still tend not to intuitively, planfully problem solve, managing the stress caused by the problems and the solving. I have to say, I felt pretty exhausted as I headed out on the trip. And in hindsight, I credit much of that to just not completing the stress cycle that was opened, just by getting everything ready so I could go. This needs to be added to my what to do and packing list going forward. So this is one strategy that really does help sway the progress to effort tally that Monnie the monitor maintains in our brain. When we have a list of predictable milestones or checkpoints to mark our progress, we feel our goals and outcomes are attainable. If we then actually keep copies of these lists and methods that we're then able to reuse, the effort is lessened even further, because we don't have to come up with all the milestones each time. We can simply tweak them to suit the current circumstance or goal. I've come to realise that I rely heavily on what Emily and Amelia Nagoski call the planful problem-solving strategy from their book Burnout, The Secret to Solving the Stress Cycle. I have packing lists for loads of different events I regularly attend. For instance, my off-grid camping in the sand dunes list is different to off-grid camping in the bush, which is different to camping at a caravan park, which is different to staying with family in the city. For my regular grocery shopping, I have a list of weekly must-haves. This is supplemented by my 20-week menu plan, which is broken down into individual recipes, letting me know in advance what else I need to have in the fridge or pantry for that week. When I employ this strategy for the things that are within my control, my Monnie is happy. We have progress, and all these things feel attainable with little effort. When I don't, I begin to feel out of control, and I'm scrambling to make progress. And Monica the Mean steps out of the shadows, reminding me that the tally board is not aligning to the expectations, and I'm failing. I can sense my goals and outcomes sliding toward the unattainable end of the scale. I can feel the helplessness and hopelessness of being stuck begin to wash over me. I know then it's time to get out that list pronto. I'm curious to know if you use this strategy, either intuitively or because you know it works for you. Next week, I'm going to look at what we can do when things are outside our control. And it might not necessarily be what you think. Well, my lovely, if through this message you see that your now is not the picture that you've painted for yourself, and you'd like any help on this discovery path, or maybe something completely different that you intuitively know or feel isn't letting your true colours shine through, then please get in touch with me. You can do it really easily by leaving me a comment, sending me a private message, or popping over to my brand new website, rhondacrimes.simplero.com, and go to the Contact Me page that now houses the email and Calendly online diary options. If you know or feel you are hitting your "I've had enough of this" set point, let's set up an obligation-free curiosity call and have a chat to see how I can support you and make sure we are a good fit for each other. Much love until next time.